All right, this is a beautiful location, and I have with me a beautiful friend. Or shall I say beauty and beast, the new Range Rover Velar here on Tech Today. And guess where I am? Well, it looks lovely. This serene surrounding happens to be right in the middle of wine country in France. We're on our way to Champagne, and all I can tell you is if you have a car like this, you can take it on-road, you can take your family in it as well, you can take it off-roading as well. That's going to be a surprise for you later on in the show. And honestly, this one is coming to Indian shores. Obviously in India, we'll only be getting the ICE option. We won't be getting the plug-in hybrid. Let me just walk you through what's new with the Range Rover Velar 2023 and also how this one is an ideal off-roading companion as well, all thanks to technology. All right, I'm standing here with this beauty and beast, so let me walk you through it a little bit. If you look at the front of the car, what's changed, right? Colors aside, it now comes with pixel LEDs. Also, with the Range Rovers, we've seen that technology across the lineup where when you're looking at oncoming traffic, high beam assist, all those things work in its favor. It adjusts the throw, the intensity, depending on the oncoming traffic and of course, you know, how dark it is, how light it is. You see the wheels, the one we were driving was a 21-inch wheel spec. But let me be fully honest with you, this has been a fascinating trip where we've driven a bunch of Velars across the lineup, different specs. We've also driven other cars, which you'll see across our platforms. But we've taken some right-hand drive cars, some left-hand drive cars. So you'll see me doing all sorts of crazy things off-roading as well. And that's a spoiler alert for you. The color looks amazing. If you see this dual tone, honestly, it reminds me a lot of the iPhone 12 Pro Max's blue color, which I miss a lot, even with the new 15s and 14s. And you come on this side, very quickly, you'll see that it's a very sharp, minimalistic design. In fact, we spoke to the design head of Jaguar Land Rover for the Range Rovers when we had Tony on the show, and he told us that it's all about a reductionist approach, right? A lot of that really comes through in the inside of the car. When you get to the interiors is where you realize that they've really changed things up. On the outside, it looks fairly similar to the older Velar. Look, it's just so deceptive when you look at a car like this because they just look like ordinary wheels. But do you know that these guys actually put microphones in the wheel arches because that's what helps with active noise cancellation on the inside. Now, this is a bit confusing, right-hand drive, left-hand drive, but we've done a lot of cool stuff off-roading in the right-hand drive, and then we've been driving the left-hand drive as well. Of course, this is a left-hand drive country, France, so we're going to be taking you to Champagne, wine country, and then finding a nice off-roading course for you to enjoy. But for now, I'm going to get in to this Velar and enjoy the drive. The Range Rover Velar drives like an absolute charm. We're going to be driving here in the middle of France, then head to wine country. If you speak about the ride quality, this is a car which is so planted. It's sort of reassuring when it's on the highway with the ADAS features, of course, and the fact that it is so responsive. The minute you hit the throttle, it responds 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds. It's no joke. The good thing about this particular car is that it has its niche of its own. Velar enthusiasts have always been there around the world, and now I think JLR is hoping that we can build on that in India. They've sold a fair bunch of units with the last version of the Velar, and now the new one with this facelift comes with, of course, pixel LEDs in the front. You have an air suspension which makes it so much easier, especially when you're going off-roading. And of course, when you talk about design, very, very minimalist. We've discussed that before on Tech Today, but I think that's a conscious call that the brand is taking. When they're heading towards electrification with their first model coming next year, we are really excited about that EV, but not too many details that we've been able to gather on this trip. All we know is that it's going to be, well, a Range Rover-esque way of doing it, and I think it all starts with the first hint they've given you, knocking off all those buttons. Of course, that's very polarizing. People would like that, some people wouldn't. Honestly, I'm fine with it. It's only about adoption, just like the iPhone got rid of the push button. Now they have an action button coming in the Pro devices, but this is interesting because you don't have, well, physical buttons, but everything is intuitive. You can long press well, modes over here and things seem to work. So I think this is only a consumption pattern which will get easier with time. Well, when you're on the Range Rover Velar, one thing you want to do, even if you're on exotic locations like this, is take it off-roading, because that it can do, and technology makes your job a whole lot easier. Well, you have a bunch of modes over here, no buttons, of course, with this new reductionist design philosophy by Range Rover. If you look at this mode option right here, a good hard touch, you can access all of this right over here. Head right here into off-road modes, and you have comfort, auto, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand. Well, let's hope the technology gods are really kind with us. Put it in auto, put the car in drive, and enjoy wine country. All right, a quick pan will show you we have a steep slope to cover and a lot of good grapes. Now, you don't want to get distracted with the sights and sounds. You need to focus on the tech right here. If you hit this button in the off-road mode, well, it says ATPC selected, right? I set the speed using this. What does ATPC really do? Well, it's an all-terrain progress control. What it essentially does is it's like cruise control for off-roading. Now, that is some cool engineering. Let me show you how it works. Brilliant on-road, brilliant off-road. Honestly, only the discerning customer back home in India would understand what a Range Rover Velar is all about. It's a little confusing if you look across the Land Rover lineup. You have, of course, the Evoque, which we'll be getting you a lot more of on Tech Today in the next few weeks. Then you have the Velar sitting right there, a slightly bigger Sport. You also, across the lineup, have the Defender, the full size, the autobiographies, and the SVs. You've seen all these cars on the show, but somehow this car has another fan base altogether. And taking it into wine country, I realize that all the safety features, tech features, the minimalistic, reductionist design, all of these things will work in its favor. It's slightly pricier this time around with this facelift in India, but honestly, if you're willing to shell out the big bucks, this is the ideal, well, road trip companion, technology BFF, and so much more. The Range Rover Velar exclusively on Tech Today.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.